Good morning. How are you? How are my friends today? Talking about entities again, called the Entity Experiment with Venus Castleberg. Thank you for being here. Super excited today to talk about Earth Keepers. We might be doing a couple of different episodes on different types of entities. But for a special occasion, I thought today we would just talk about Earth entities. Because there's the Earth Keepers. There's quite a few different types of entities, like I said, and so Earth Keepers. So it's my understanding that there's like a conglomeration of excuse me, of light beings, and then there's a conglomeration of Earth Keepers. And Earth Keepers are kind of just that, right? They take care of the Earth. They kind of oversee everything in the Earth. Now, here's a cool story. Back when there was an oil spill there was an oil spill quite a few years ago. And one of the things in Access Consciousness we kept doing is asking, or Gary and Dain did, and asking if they could do something to change it. And they kept getting no until one day they got a yes. And then when they got a yes, within like a day or so, like this unknown bacteria came up from the depths of the ocean and ate all the oil. So it ended up being not as devastating because of this bacteria, right? So you can kind of think of Earth Keepers like that. Like if there's something that's out of balance, then something will help it come back into balance. So sometimes that's earthquakes, floods, tornadoes. Right now there's even a virus, which is very fascinating because like canals are getting cleared in like Venice. There's no green, it's like a green slime color usually, and now it's all clear. So there's like this general well-being of the Earth. And the cool thing is that the Earth doesn't actually, if the Earth didn't want us here, it would just kind of shake us off like fleas and just be like, okay, I'm over it. So she has this amazing ability to gift to us and regenerate and stuff. And there are beings that are dedicated to, how would I say that? To contributing to the Earth. So, and Earth Keepers are things like fairies. They actually do exist. Beings of light, or light beings that I know. Shannon O'Hara calls them beings of light, but they're light beings. They're like kind of archangels, that kind of thing. Like we've talked about before, when I say entities kind of in general, there's a lot of ghosts. That's ghosts. So Earth Keepers are kind of everything that you can think of, even in like what you think are fantasy movies and stuff. A lot of those beings actually do exist. They just exist on an alternate plane. So leprechauns, I guess what some people call ogres. Not really ogres to me, but they're just really big. They're really large beings, so it's kind of like how you would name them. There's also beings that look humanoid. So, and what I know about them is they come together. They're all kind of doing their own jobs, not jobs, but their own contributions, however that is. So fairies really love to grow plants and and take care of trees and flowers. And so you often see light, like flashes. You might often see flashes of light around trees and flowers and stuff like that. And that's often fairies. I also have learned that some fairies, not all fairies, because there's even, just like there's as many different types of humans and, are different colors, shapes, and sizes, there are entities and earth keepers and light beings and all that. So there's even different categories, I guess, of fairies. So some fairies are earth, like I said, the flowers and plants. Some of them are shapeshifters, so they can shapeshift into different animals and stuff like that. What else? Gnomes, like really they do exist. So, and they kind of look like the elves on, there was a new Christmas special came out this year called Claus. And there was these little elves on there, they look like little gnomes, which is very similar. It's interesting if you think about it. It's like a lot of people think that these beings, whether it be unicorns or dragons, or that these sort of things came out of our imagination. Well, what if they didn't really come out of our imagination? What if they actually came out of our knowing? And those people who have drawn them, or have actually been able to see them in a way, whether it be with their mind's eye, right? Or they have a dream, and right. Mermaids do actually exist. Now, again, it's not on this plane per se. And who knows? I mean, I wouldn't put it past, being able to run into the Loch Ness Monster at some time. And you might think I'm crazy, but this is just my experience. So, and I'm, again, I'm not right. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, it's okay. So, but just knowing that there's kind of this whole gaggle, this whole group of beings that are dedicated to the I don't want to say preservation, because it's not like the earth needs to be preserved, but the constantly in contribution to the earth. Just as the earth gives to us so freely, so do these beings give so freely to the earth. It's kind of their purpose, their desire, their desired contribution. It's the only word I can come up with. And I apologize if sometimes this doesn't make sense. I've honestly never talked about this out loud. So lucky you get me like saying all this stuff for the first time out loud. And I guess part of this too is like, if you can get that there's a whole bunch of different beings that are also coexisting on this earth, maybe you can also get that you can have the ability and the possibility of tapping into magic as well. Like, it's not just the beings, right? The beings don't just have access to the magic, you do too. You are far more magical and miraculous than you give yourself credit for. I mean, we've all heard of miracles, at least heard of them. If you haven't been a part of some of them personally, you have heard of them, right? So if you've heard of them, then that's magic, that's miracles, that happens all the time. Miracle healing happens all the time. Think like, we've been grounded on the earth for, out of most travel, not all, but most travel, for 2 weeks. And already the ozone layer is bouncing back and things are coming back to life. So that's how quickly the earth magic can move and change, and how much is possible. That's even just a drop in the ocean of an invitation to say, hey, there's something more possible here. And you have that ability, well, to be a contribution to the earth, to have miracle healings, all of that. So, hello, Patricia. Patricia says, yay, so much fun. What else is possible? Let's go beyond any perceived limitations. Absolutely. Because it's all perceived. We have this belief that other beings and entities don't exist because we can't see them. And it's just an illusion that we've created, often because it's uncomfortable to see them. So, and now there's a different possibility. What would you choose? Well, I'm really excited to also announce I have a really great friend of mine doing a whole month of earth magic. She's dedicating the entire month of April to earth magic. And there's going to be Facebook Lives. There's going to be lots of gifts. There's going to be daily earth cards, and just this interaction with a group of people as we contribute to the earth, and also to really tapping into what else is possible with the earth and with our bodies and with ourselves. So if it might be fun for you to join me, I will post a link to her series, her month-long series in the chat. And she's also donating some money to Forest for Futures, which is a program that is all about reforesting the places that have been lost. So just a little place where we might be able to contribute some more and tap into the earth magic, and maybe meet some earth keepers along the way. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.